It's recording. Hello, Shruti. How you doing?
Hi, Lisa. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Good. I am so tired, though. Lowe's delivered like 64 40-pound sacks of organic compost, and it was higher than me, okay? So this morning, I put all the bags out in the different places in the, flower beds. And then I slashed it, like a H slash all of them, and then I'm going to go after this session and dump them and rake it. And
lots of
I'm too old for this, man. That is 25. Let's see, 64 times 40. That is 2,560 pounds. I lugged over a ton and a half from the street, walking like 100 yards to different places.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Anyways, everybody feels sorry for me. No, I'm just kidding. See, it's a women's work, right? No. The reason I did it is because my husband, the last time we had somebody else put the mulch down, it cost him $800 and something. So he says, no way. Why should I do that when wifey poo can do it for free? So there we go. Anyway, that's the subject. We're going to talk about women's right, a right to not mulch, and domestic violence and all that kind of stuff. Hi, Erik. How are you doing? Are you okay with this topic? And maybe Jillian would want to also intervene.
He says, "Hi, Mama. I love you." And he says he has been waiting to talk about this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's like, there's so much to talk about here. So he's super excited to talk.
Okay, well, I'll just do an open mic. We'll just start out with open mic. Just tell me what you want to. Did I freeze? Uh-oh, it freezes.
Yes, you've frozen.
Yeah, you did too. It's okay. That happens from time to time. So, Erik, I'll give you the open mic, and you just start talking about it in whatever way you want.
Oh, he's getting very, very passionate about it. He's doing this. He says, first of all, guys, he wants to tell everyone that it's not a man against woman scenario. So, it's not like we were in this men-dominated era and now we want to move into the woman-dominated era. So it's not a battle. It's not about who's winning and men should do this. There should be equal pay and everything. And it's not a battle against the sexes.
Okay.
It's a battle of humanity. It's, things have gotten out of balance and there needs to be a balance. So it's about that. So he wanted to clear that point, first of all, that it's not a battle against sexes. And there is something which is out of balance. With both the sexes play an important role. So as long as there is balance, the humanity will progress.
In what way is it out of balance, Erik?
Because we are still into that primitive stage where the thinking is very primitive. It's not evolved yet. And the woman who's more emotional holds the key to a more balanced world. So if that sex is given its due importance, or if they're allowed to have a more say, then it will be a more balanced approach to our future.
Can you describe some of the signs of it being unbalanced? Are you saying it's more toward the masculine instead of kind of the equilibrated between the two?
He's using the word primitive. So it's the era of doers. Is the era of doers, he's saying, which means that the people who get things done. So masculine is like a doer, and the feminine is like the thinker, the spiritual sort of way shower, but the actual doing and living the life and getting things done and accomplishing stuff, it's a very masculine quality. So we are in that quality now, where it's about moving ahead, competition, uh, conquering things, technology, growth, um, all of those things which are very masculine
Okay.
qualities. So that's how he explains it.
So the emotional woman, what does she have to bring to the table to bring that back into balance?
He talks love. He talks about life.
Mm.
So we move from achievement, growth, success to we move to balance. We move to fulfillment. We move to peace. We move to safety and um, a happier things that we look for are not growth and success and achievement and competition. The things we will look for now is self-satisfaction. So we wouldn't measure ourselves based on
How
how
much money
much
we
money
make?
do you have in your bank account, which
Yes.
car do you drive, and how
Yeah.
society views success. So we wouldn't measure ourselves with those units, with those qualities, but we would measure ourselves with how happy are we in our life, and are we doing what we enjoy doing most of the
Good.
time? Are we paying attention to our emotional needs? So at the moment, if you cry and if you say, oh no, I better choose a career which wouldn't pay that much, but it makes me happy, it makes me satisfied, then people might think, oh, you're crazy. Why? It's like, for example,
Yeah.
I can
In
give
your case, yeah.
example. I was doing something which was held as a successful career, as a very logical, intelligent woman doing well in her very good career, and all that. And now I chose to leave all that, and now I'm paying attention to something that makes me happy and doing something that makes me happy.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
that sort of thing, it's still frowned upon if someone does that. And people think, oh, I think they're having a midlife crisis, I think they're going crazy and stuff like that. But that wouldn't be the case if we were more into a balanced state of
What
being.
is going to move us into that balance? Or maybe it's already happening. What are some of the factors that would
It's
help us get that
definitely, he
balance?
says, oh yes, it's happening. He says, oh yes, it's happening. What is going to move us into that? So he's talking about a family. He's talking about priorities. He's talking about um, okay. He's also talking about upbringing, the way we talk to the girls and the way we talk to boys when we are raising
Oh,
them up. What qualities do we reward them for? What qualities in them do we acknowledge? What qualities in them do we encourage? So it needs to start from there. It needs to start from self identity. So at the moment, we encourage bravery, strength, and
withholding emotions. Withholding
sorry,
emotions. Withholding emotions if you're a
withholding
guy.
emotions, and taking risks, and all these qualities are the qualities that we usually encourage in boys. And we say, yay, well done, you got a bruised knee, good. It's a typical
Yeah.
boy being a boy. And then in girls, we say, oh, she's so sweet, she's so kind, she's so pretty.
Bring
And
daddy his slippers. Things like that.
yeah, we raise them to be obedient, we raise them to be perfect, we raise them
Nurturing.
to look perfect.
Yeah.
And boys, we don't tell them, oh, I don't like your beard today, it doesn't look nice, go shave. Or I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we might say that, but not in a way where we would like putting them down in some way. But if women show up with hairy underarms and hairy legs, and if they don't care about how they look, then they are criticized, they are judged.
Right.
So and women feel the need to be perfect, to be presentable.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we are basically teaching them to not accept them the way they are, and there needs to be something that needs to be done for them to be accepted in the society.
Yeah, I mean, when we get old, women get old, we're old hags. When guys get older, they're like distinguished gentlemen. It's not fair. But with Easton, my little, right, my 2-year-old grandson, I am teaching him how, and I did this to Arlene, my 9-year-old granddaughter, how important love is and how it's okay to cry, but not whine. So if you have a boo-boo, if you're sad about something, cry, it's important. And so now he just hugs everybody. He goes, I yeah you Mimi, I love you Mimi, And he's very affectionate and loving, very much the same as his sister is. So yeah, I mean, it can be done. So in this new balanced outlook, what will change in the male role? How will they change? I see what women can bring to the table, teaching love and the importance of family and priorities of self-fulfillment, etc. But what about the guys?
First of all, he says that it's not just women's right, and it's not just women who are at loss here. The men are at equal, if not more, at loss, because they are the ones who have to withhold their emotions.
I know.
Who can't cry, who can't be sissies, and oh, you're crying, you're a sissy. Oh, you did this, you're not man enough.
Oh.
So they have to pretend to be man enough, and that's things that are natural to them. As a human, they suppress that, and that's not good for them either. Mm-hmm. So basically we have to embrace more of what is natural, being a human in both sexes. Mm-hmm. So it's natural to have hair, embrace it. Mm-hmm. In women, it's natural to feel emotions and cry sometimes, so embrace that in men. Hello?
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I think it's frozen. So
it does that every once in a while. Okay, go ahead.
So, mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to ask some questions. Well, Erik, you let me know when you're finished with the open mic part. Do you want to take questions from blog members, or you want to say some more?
Yeah, he says let's move on to questions there, because we'll talk more about things when the questions come up.
Okay, that's true. These are all from blog members. Most of them are. Is there a spiritual contract for women being controlled by men or being the weaker sex? I mean, why did that evolve?
He's saying yes. He's saying yes to bring the human collectiveness to where it is now. It was important that the doers take control. So the technological development, and that's the main reason he's saying, the medical, let's say, the scientific, whatever we've achieved till now as a humanity, it was important that the doers take the control.
Okay. All right.
Of the situation for us to reach here. But now we are at a point where that growth itself, that achievements that we have had in our human humanness, mm-hmm. Is affecting our future. Okay. In a way that we might be self-destructive.
Okay.
So now we are at a point where we need to make decisions. We can still continue to go on the same road. Okay. And give those qualities the importance that's driving us to a doomed future. Let's say, where we pay attention to the technology, to the medical science, and we don't really pay attention to the emotions and well-being and a balanced approach. So we can still keep doing that, and it might not lead us to a future that's desirable. or we can have a more balanced approach and take a different route.
Okay. All right.
But yes, it was a spiritual contract.
Okay. Why do some spirits decide to become women? And of course, I guess the opposite. Why do some decide to be men in each incarnation? I mean, we've probably all been, obviously, both sexes.
He's like, Mom, that's like asking, why did you decide to become a Lisa, and why did this person decide to become? So there are many number of reasons. Not only the sexes, but every individual holds qualities and life paths and contracts that are unique to them.
Okay.
So but if I'm asking him, if just in general, why do spirits decide to become women? So he's saying that to experience life on a much deeper level, to experience suffering on a much deeper level, to experience creation, like giving birth, or to experience not being able to create.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Why do women have to be the weaker physically? Why do we have to? Why can't we just be as strong as guys? Because that could have come in handy when I was lugging 2.5 tons of mulch around. But go ahead.
Showing his muscles.
Oh, yeah.
He said.
He did lots of mulching. He mulched my flower beds before. So he knows. Okay, go ahead.
Well, what he's saying is very, very interesting. He's talking about compensation of the energy. He's talking about how so much stuff. He's talking about chemicals and how we are built differently, how men are built differently from women, and how the testosterone triggers certain emotions, how the estrogen triggers certain emotions, and so the emotions in them make them have that physique where they need to be strong, they need to fight for the territory, they need to fight for the females. So the way we evolve, like in animal kingdom. And
fight
for women, it's not necessary to build that. They don't need to fight.
They don't need to hunt and wrestle, their prey to the ground and all that. Okay, that makes sense.
For them, it's about protecting the young ones, finding the food. So he's explaining it that way.
Oh, interesting. What in general are some strengths of women, and why do they exist? Since we're talking about women.
Sorry, it got frozen in between. Can you repeat?
I'm sorry. What in general are some of the biggest, maybe you could just name maybe 2 or 3 strengths that women have, and maybe why do they exist?
He's talking about motherhood. He's saying that's the biggest, the nurturing. That's 90% of it, he says. So he's like, that's the biggest strength, the love that mother feels for the child is just off the charts. It's men can never experience that.
It's amazing. I mean, sure, do you know?
Yeah.
It's just that mother-child bond is just there's just nothing.
You cannot explain that. Yeah, there are no enough words.
It's like that umbilical cord never really breaks.
Never breaks.
You're just always connected to your kids. Well, okay, why have genders at all? I mean, it could be hermaphrodite like some worms are or whatever. Why have genders, Erik? I mean, on a spiritual basis.
He's like, Mom, if you look around, everything has duality in this world. This world is all about duality. It's about ones and zeros and plus and minus and big and small, and men and women. So it's like the energetic DNA. Everything in this world is about duality. So good, bad, light, dark. It's the same reason. So we also take a form of dual aspect where there are two sexes.
Yeah, and so of course, I guess with that duality, there's so much more you can learn, with contrast. So, okay, that makes
I
sense.
mean, he says,
Oh,
I mean, I'm just saying two sexes for the, to make sense of things. But yes, there are more than two sexes.
oh, really?
I mean, like there are transgender people, there
Oh,
are
yeah, of
people who
course,
don't
yeah.
identify
Of
as,
course, of
so we are
course.
not sort of leaving them out. I mean, but they also experience both masculine and feminine,
Sure. Yeah.
experience.
Why do some women choose to be lesbians?
Very interesting. He's talking about the spiritual aspect of it. He's saying it's really about equality and no discrimination.
Good.
So it's for us to understand that love doesn't discriminate. Oh, I'm going to only, because I'm a woman, I'm going to only love men. Because I'm a man, I'm going to only love women. Love can happen with anything and anyone.
That's true.
And
so they're here to teach us. They're really here to. I'm sure there are some who they have a soulmate from another life that was a male, and then they come into this life as a female, and the other person still loves them and they're female. I mean, I'm sure there's things like that. But what you're saying is that lesbians and homosexuals, gay guys, they're here to teach us that love is love is love. And equality is so important.
Equality. It's all about love is blind. Love doesn't have a color. Love is plain.
Yeah, good.
Love can happen with anything. So it's just for us to see it in a more tangible way.
Okay. Now, when I say why do women choose to be lesbians, people, I'm not saying in this life they make that choice. I know it's biological. Okay, I'm talking about before they come into spiritually, before they come into that body. All right, tell me about the matriarchal society.
He's saying woo 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 woo. He was very happy with your explanation.
Yeah, just in case. Tell me about. I don't want any more hate mail or comments. Tell me about the matriarchal societies in the past and present, and where is the trend? Are there going to be more matriarchal societies, or is it just going to be more about neutral balance? But let's talk about matriarchal societies first. I mean, there's some right in the past, like in Africa or something. I don't know.
Oh, sorry, Elisa, you got broken again.
So let's start up. Yes, no problem. Tell me about matriarchal societies in the past. I know there have been many. I think some were in Africa, and some still probably are in Africa.
The image I'm seeing in my head, yeah, Africa. That's what I saw. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you want to know more about that?
Yeah.
He is talking about a very, very important point. He's saying that matriarchal societies are societies where women support women.
Okay.
So, for example, in our society, it's not really the men who are against women. It's actually women who are against women.
That's awful.
It's like it's the women who judge other women the most.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. He's saying it's not just about men need to support women and there needs to be equal pay, because how you can make it equal, you can make it more than men. The pay, it doesn't matter. That's not what is going to change things. Things have to be changed at an emotional, energetic level. Where women are more in a supportive role towards each other.
Well, why do they judge each other so much? Competition?
Why do they judge? Some form of competition. He's saying it's
competing for mates or something.
Sorry,
competing for a mate, maybe on a biological level.
No. it's more like he's saying competing for resources. It's like this feeling of um, uh, not having enough. It's like it's in the DNA, that there is some sort of competition and there's some sort of winning that needs to happen for the resources.
Oh.
So it's like, yeah, it's like a feeling of not having enough, which leads, if she's on top, then I'm not on top. If I'm on top, then she's not on top, that sort of a feeling. So there isn't like a supportive role um where and also the fact that men are seen as the people who are in the leadership roles
Mm.
and not women. So it's like, women are not respected as leaders even by women.
Mm.
So there needs to be more leaders for the matriarchal societies to come up. Women need to feel comfortable in the leadership role, then, and other women need to support them. And that's what used to happen in the old matriarchal societies, where mother, he's saying, why mother? A female who was seen as a mother for all.
Mm.
So she was not only nurturing her young ones, but nurturing like a village, a community.
Oh, yeah.
So, so that quality of women was respected, was worshipped as a mother, and it was encouraged and it was given importance to.
Mm.
And now whoever earns money gets importance. So that's the difference.
That's too
So
bad. Well, where's the trend? I mean, should we move more toward a matriarchal type uh, structure? At least
that
at the
might
family.
help, but that doesn't need to happen everywhere. That might help some
Mm-hmm.
places, but if it doesn't need to happen everywhere. So
Okay.
some they some areas can have matriarchal sort of society if it works for them. It depends on what works for them.
Okay.
And he was also briefly talking about how important it is to recognize the importance of the living of life, the basic living of life, like cooking. What you put in your tummies is so important.
Oh, yeah.
So important. It's lifestyle. How important is the type of, he's talking about recognizing the importance of your lifestyle, and who controls the lifestyle in every household is a woman.
Mm.
The lifestyle of the family is controlled by a woman. And
Interesting.
if so it's when we recognize the importance of that lifestyle, we recognize that what an important role a woman plays in the family, and we
Okay.
give that role its due importance. And I don't know where he's going with that. So when we do that, then it won't be, he's talking about how in today's world we measure success based on material things.
Yeah.
So which has led to not giving the importance of um, not giving lifestyle the importance that it needs, because that doesn't earn any money. When you're taking care of your family,
I know.
you're not really making any money.
I know.
It's out of love, it's out of your nurturing that you take care of your family. So we give more importance to the roles in society which earns money.
Yeah.
So when we move into recognizing the importance of the person who actually manages or decides the lifestyle of the family.
That's you still get paid in other ways, obviously, a sense of fulfillment. Or why do
Yeah.
some women choose to be abused? I mean, spiritually, okay, not once they're incarnated, or be victims of domestic violence.
He's talking about control. It's to experience not having control over your life. It's sometimes also not knowing whether you're going to live or die. It's
Oh,
he's talking about that.
now why would that be
Um,
valuable? You learn to
because
treasure
then
life, or
they have to recognize that they have to learn to come out of that victim mode and
mm.
take control of their life, and that's a realization, a learning.
So self-empowerment may be a big lesson for them.
Mhm.
So what if somebody is a victim of domestic violence? What should they do? I mean, maybe they don't have any skills. Maybe they put their husband through, and I know you can have domestic violence against men too, but this subject is about women, this YouTube. So, a lot of times they put their husbands through school and now they earn the money and they don't really have any skills, and, would find it very difficult to get a job. So what can you tell women who are currently trapped in a very abusive household?
He's talking about them recognizing the first thing is the very important thing is for them to recognize that this is not okay, because in their minds they tell themselves that they're having a normal life.
They probably think they have it coming, that kind of thing. Well, I deserve it.
No.
Oh,
He's
okay, good.
talking about he's talking about in their mind that life is normal.
Oh,
That's okay, he loves me, so they are in a denial mode.
I gotcha. Okay.
So he's talking about the first very important thing is to first recognize that this is not okay and you're being abused.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about they hide it, from the families, from nobody knows that stuff like that is happening to them. Their friends don't know, their family don't know, because they try to hide it. There's a feeling of shame associated with it.
Mm,
So even if they're being abused, they hide it, and they trick themselves into thinking that their partner loves them
mm.
and things like that. So they're basically in denial. So he's talking about that a realization needs to happen that enough is enough, this is not okay, and I need to do something about it.
Mm.
And when that realization happened, the very first thing that you can do is talk about it to your friends and family and trust them. And then it's about and he's saying that it takes a lot of time and courage for them to even take a little step towards making their lives better. It needs a lot of courage for them to break out of it completely, but just to start the process is the biggest step
That's the
for
biggest
them.
hurdle. Yeah. And when there's kids
And once they
involved, that
start the
complicates
process,
things. Yeah.
that's the biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the biggest hurdle. And once you take that step, then things move forward. But the biggest hurdle is to first take the first step,
Right.
and
Okay.
then the whole process of healing and processing what happened, it's a lifetime. It takes
Yeah.
lifetime.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. All right. And then there's all sorts of resources that will help women, find jobs, be uh, retrained,
Yeah,
or trained in some sort of, uh,
but
to become
he's saying
employable, basically.
yeah, but he's saying that it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen like you're in a domestic abuse situation, then you find a job and you get away.
Oh, no,
It's
no.
very rare that will happen because women don't have the confidence, their self-confidence and
Mm,
their self-worth, self-value is completely stripped off by that
mm.
time. So it's very rare that they will find a job and then leave.
Oh, of
They
course.
have to first leave,
Of
run away from
course.
it, and then become stable enough to actually build their life. And
Okay, that's awesome. Now, here's one from somebody. I would like to know why women have been treated inferior to men for centuries, especially in some countries where women are mistreated in the name of religious beliefs and customs.
that's my country.
Uh-oh, a lot of countries.
Oh, I get so wild up
Oh, I
when,
bet.
when I think about
Oh,
it's a horrible
it's
situation.
terrible. Yeah.
So, why does it happen in the name of religion? Sorry, I completely lost the question there.
No. It's like, why have they been treated inferior to men? Is for centuries, especially in some countries where they're mistreated in the name of religious beliefs and customs.
He is talking about, I don't know how this makes sense, but let me just tell you what I see or what I hear. So he is talking about marriage. He is talking about having control over women and how women were seen as a commodity, a property in a way. So we were, when let's say we were in a stone age and things were different, and then we moved into the agricultural age. And in that agricultural age, we started putting value, or we started valuing material possessions like the cattle, like the land where you grow stuff. And then it was difficult to um, decide, if one of the landowner dies, where does the where who gets the land? So that's when the women was that's when the whole tradition of marriage started, as in, so this man gets married to this woman, has children,
who can help on the farm,
have the farm and the cattle, and so just sort of to organize stuff. And that's why the culture started forming.
Interesting.
And it's all very complicated what he's saying. And he's talking about how the religion, how the mythical stories, and there were messages from the heaven. So just like mediums, like I am, and other mediums, so there were this wisdom, this knowledge that was channeled, and that formed the culture and stuff, and that formed the stories, that formed the stories play a very big part. And in that whole setting, the women were characterized as something that needs to be controlled, because that's where the progeny,
the lineage comes.
takes.
Yeah, right. The woman was going to bring forth farm helpers, herders, and
So
things
it
like
was
that.
like an effort to organize life. It was like an effort to organize humanity. So it was organized based on what the person, what what are the skills of a particular person. So if there is a cobbler, then his son becomes a cobbler. If there's a farmer, then his son becomes a farmer. The skills sort of started dividing societies. If he's a businessman, then his son becomes a businessman. Things like that. And this is the role of a man, this is the role of a woman. So women were like this in a supportive role, and men were like in the leadership, the doing roles.
Gotcha. Well, what does the future hold for women in these kinds of countries?
There will be a lot of struggle, of course, which is understandable. He's saying there will be a lot of struggle, and there will be a lot of fight, he's saying. For saying women are not going to take that shit anymore, and they're going to fight back.
Good.
And they're going to say that we don't believe in your old traditions and rituals anymore, and and they're going to ask for freedom from that.
Good. So are we talking about 50 years from now, or what kind of timeline? I'm sure it's different in every country, but
Yeah. So I'm asking him, what about India?
oh yeah.
Shows the figure of around 100 years.
Oh God. Oh. What
So
about
less than 100 years, but about 100 years, yeah.
what about in the Middle East?
I'm surprised because he says around 70, 80.
Okay. What about one more? Africa. Some of the African nations.
He's talking about that in some of the African regions, there doesn't need to be there are already some matriarchal sort of
Yeah,
society.
that's true. Okay.
So, but yeah, it will, the ones which do mix with the Western world, with the current world, that will take time. But there are already those tribal areas, places where things are perfect or things are good.
Okay. Well, why do they do circumcisions on women in some African countries?
He's saying, Mom, everything to do with sex
Mm-hmm.
and with birth,
Mm-hmm.
giving birth and everything, all of these things with to do with women were needed to be controlled. Men felt the
Oh,
need to control these things.
I gotcha.
So everything, any act of um, that involves genitalia,
Mm-hmm.
procreation, sex. So
They
all of
want to
these symbols
control.
need
Yeah.
to control.
Ugh. Well, hopefully that'll end eventually. Will there ever be an end to sex trafficking of women? Of course, we know they have that for kids too, but we're talking about women on for this thing.
Oh, I don't know why he's saying this, but he's saying that it happens mainly in the Middle East. I mean,
Okay.
that's where it's as long as women are kept hidden, women are, as long as you as long as men try to keep women in a veil,
Mm-hmm.
it will not end. When women are not in a veil,
Not in what?
in a veil of
Oh,
some
okay.
sort,
Veil. Yeah. You say
yeah,
V's just like my husband does. Veil, like a veil over your face. He
yeah.
gets V's and W's totally mixed up. I guess all Norwegians do that. So it's so funny. All right. So as long as they're in a
So
veil.
as long as women are kept in a veil, that's
Mm-hmm.
what will.
Okay.
Yeah, when women are not behind anything, then it will, yeah,
Okay.
not happen.
All right. Now, what are some of the spiritual reasons behind pregnancy?
What are some of the spiritual reasons behind pregnancy?
Yes, ma'am.
Pregnancy. Oh my God. I think Erik likes that question.
Oh, goody. How can you tell?
Because he's going on a tangent where we don't want to go.
Oh, come on, go. What is it?
He's talking about sex and stuff like that. So
Oh, you don't like that, do you, girl?
I mean, I have no problem, but I might blush and I might stop while talking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. He's made Jamie blush a lot, and others too. But yeah, go ahead if it's important. Now, Erik, if you're just trying to get a rise out of her, forget about it. But if it's important, go for it. We'll back you up.
He's saying that sex is the spiritual reason behind pregnancy. That's what he was saying.
Oh, okay.
So he's saying that
sorry, doorbell. It's nobody.
The need for love and the need for intimacy, that emotional need in women brings the two closer, men and women.
Okay.
And that results in pregnancy.
Okay.
So so it's like when you let that love flow, you create another life. Okay. So things like that. He was talking about that.
All right.
And he's asking, so mom, so spiritual reason behind pregnancy, there can be many spiritual reasons why pregnancy happens. Because soul wants to come in, experience life. A soul who's a mother wants to experience creation. Sometimes they want to experience loss. So there are many number of reasons behind pregnancy.
Okay, that's good. Why do some women choose to come in as a woman and be raped? What's behind that?
He's saying the biggest spiritual reason behind that is for that person to recognize that they are not just their body. So they're bigger than their body. That's the main lesson there.
Okay.
That this is just a vehicle to feel stuff, because they don't sometimes understand why that one act has impacted them emotionally, mentally, physically in such a big way.
Yeah.
It's sex. Everyone experiences it, but it's the abuse, the emotions of the rapists.
Yeah, the violation.
The violation of their emotions is what affects the person, not the physical raping, but it's the emotions. And then the women start to sort of disassociate with their body for some time. And they'll start to recognize that they are much bigger than their body, and bodies so that's the main reason that they understand.
That's really interesting. All right, I'm going to ask 2 more questions, and then I have like 13 more. So I think we're going to have a number 2, a part 2. That's a big subject. What's the spiritual basis behind coming in as a transgender person?
He's talking about past life. He's talking about there is some energy that you can carry sometimes from the past life, and maybe I don't know, I don't want to say this.
Oh, go ahead. Come on, be brave, girl. You can do it. I can color correct for the blushing. No, I'm kidding.
It's more like a judgmental thing which he's talking about. But okay, so he's saying that maybe you've committed something that in your past life which you judge yourself. Maybe you were a rapist.
Yeah.
Maybe you did something for which you judge yourself, and then you want to come and you want to experience the other side of it, and decide to become transgender. So it feels like almost he's saying that you did something bad and it's your karma. But
there's no such thing as right or wrong, they say. He says.
So he's saying, because it's a difficult thing to go through. So we experience that because we judge ourselves. There is karma is just self-judgment.
Oh,
It's not, nobody sort of judges you.
Oh, no. There's no
So it's
external
trying to
karma
understand.
police. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's the spirit trying to understand how it feels to be on the other side of, let's say, what they've done, and experience both sides and go through that experience. And sometimes it is about self-love, sometimes it is about self-acceptance, sometimes it can be all of that.
Good. Many things then. There are many possible reasons. All right, last question before we pause, stop. Is it true that some people have XY and XX chromosomes in their body?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that? I mean, from a spiritual reason.
Oh, you're saying like XY and XX and XY both at the same time?
In the same body. I've read that I saw a TV show that there's some people that do have that.
I know for sure that there can be XXY, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that I know, I've seen a TV show about that too.
Okay.
So of course, there is, yeah.
So what's behind that? Why would somebody choose to come in with that? It's like they made the last decision. I want to be a guy. No, I want to be a girl. No. Too late. Now I'm on both.
He's making a joke out of it.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead. What's the joke? Comic relief. We need it.
He's saying to experience the hell out of the confusion or something. He's talking about it's about control and control and identity and understanding. It's about ego, control, and identity. So you come into the body and you have this identity of, let's say, being a boy,
Mm-hmm.
and then your identity changes, but it's not in your control.
Oh. So it's
You can
experiencing a
imagine
lack
that.
of control, right? Is that what you're saying?
Sorry?
So it's experiencing a lack of control?
Yeah, over your own identity. So you know how we have our ego, we identify as, I say that I'm a software engineer, you say you're a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So we have choices in our life, we choose stuff, and we create our own identity through our ego.
Yeah.
We believe in something, we identify ourselves as, I'm a lady, and I'm a software engineer, and I'm a professional, or I'm a medium, or I'm a doctor.
And your mother.
So we have control over our identity. We choose our identity. We make a conscious choice.
Yeah.
But if you have, if you are, let's say, a transgender or someone who has XXY chromosome, then that is something. That's a situation where you do not get to choose your identity. Your identity chooses you. So you are born as a boy, but you cannot identify as a boy anymore, because your physical body is changing, the chemicals in your body are changing, you are experiencing both sides of the coin, and you're transitioning into a woman physically. You're not growing facial hair, you're growing boobs, and saying you have a dick. So
I knew that was coming.
So that's what he's saying, that it's a situation where you do not have control over your identity. It's like you really are in an identity crisis. You want to experience that,
and that's tough.
And then you have to have the confidence to create your own uniqueness, your unique identity, and to own it, and to be okay with it. And then the biggest part is, what will the world accept me as? What will the world look at me as? Hello?
Yeah, I got you.
So when you own your own identity, when you're comfortable in your own identity, that's when you are comfortable going out in the world and then saying, okay, listen, this is what I feel like a girl, I feel like a boy. So yes.
That must be tough. That's awesome. All right, thank you, Erik. Thank you, Shruti. Shruti, how can people get in touch with you?
People can go on my website, which is shrutikamble.com, and on that they should be able to find everything they want about
And I'll
me.
put it right here, people, very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll make a date for part 2 whenever you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.